G'day guys, Casey here from Lured In Fishing. Today I would like to show you how to tie a double Paternoster rig. One of the most versatile and effective rigs for bait fishing. It is fantastic for any application, so surf fishing, bottom fishing, whether it's big fish, small fish, it can be tied with a lot of different terminal gear, light line or heavy line. It is a must know for absolutely anybody. So stay tuned and I'll show you exactly how we tie it. Alright, so to start our Paternoster rig, I have here a 2 metre length of leader, and throughout the video you'll see me using a ruler to measure certain lengths of certain parts of this rig. So I find using a ruler gives you really good consistency when you're tying multiple rigs. So if I'm tying 20 of these before a big fishing weekend, I know that all 20 of those rigs is going to be exactly the same. So to start, I'm going to grab my 2 metre leader and I'm going to come down 30 centimetres. So at my 30 centimetre mark, just here, I'm then going to come down another 50 centimetres. Now this 50 centimetre piece is going to be used to tie my first dropper loop. So I double up those two pieces, that's my 50 centimetres of line doubled up. I'm going to wrap that around my index finger and middle finger once, twice. I'm then going to pull that loop off my fingers and I'm going to go through that loop, through once and through twice. Now make sure you're lubricating your knots, but I'm going to pull that one tight, and that is our first dropper loop for our rig. I'm then going to come down 40 centimetres from there. So we come down 40, which is here, and then for our second loop, I'm going to come down another 50. So once again, 50 centimetre piece of line, I'm going to double the two, pinch them together. I'm going to do our second dropper loop, so once, twice around the fingers. I pull that off my fingers, and then I'm going to go through that loop, 1 and 2. Lubricate your knots, pull that one tight. So we now have our 2 dropper loops on our rig, and now at the bottom of our rig we're going to tie a standard loop knot. So we're at the end of our rig, we're going to give ourselves good little length of line. I don't normally measure that piece, I just kind of eyeball it. I'm going to tie a simple overhand knot. Now you can make this loop as big as you want. I find you want a little bit of length just so you can get it over the top of your sinkers. So got our little overhand there. We pull that down nice and tight, making sure we're always pulling the knot in the tag end. We're not actually pulling the knot down the line. We then, with our tag end, feed up through our little overhand. We're then going to wrap our tag end 1, 2, 3, 4 times around our main line, and then we're going to go once again back through our little overhand knot. So pulling this one down, sometimes a little pair of pliers can be handy. That's our little standard loop knot at the bottom there for connecting our sinker. Trim up your tag end, and now we can attach our hardware to our Paternoster rig. So for our hardware, we're going to start off by connecting our swivel to the top or the open end of our rig. Now this swivel can be used to connect to your running trace or your main line. It's going to provide a point where we can connect our rig. So I'm going to come through the eye of one side of the swivel. We're going to tie a basic uni knot. So I'm going to pinch those two lines together. I'm going to make a loop with the tag end, just like so. I'm then going to wrap the tag end around the top of the loop and our main line 3 to 4 times. 1, 2, and 3. Just going to cinch that one down. So pull that tag end nice and tight, and then we can pull our knot down to the swivel, remembering always lubricate your knots. I'm then going to cut the tag end off our little uni knot there. So the next step is attaching our hooks onto our dropper loops. So I find the best way to do this, sometimes getting a doubled up piece of line through the eye of your hooks can be a little bit challenging. So I like to pinch it nice and tight and pull the back of the loop until I'm right at the end of that dropper loop there. Trying to squeeze those lines together as tight as I possibly can. We get our desired hook. We go through the back of the hook. Now you can simply go straight over the top of the hook there and that will secure it, but I like to go over the top, give it one twist around and then back over the top, and that actually creates a nice little locked knot on the eye of our hook there, which keeps our hook nice and straight and nice and stiff. So we're going to do exactly the same on our next loop. So we're going to feed that down, push those lines together, squeeze them as tight as you can. Once again, grabbing our second hook, coming from the back of the hook, pushing through, over the top 1, twist, over the top 2, and then pulling our loop back through, giving us that nice little knot on our hook there. The hook is nice and stiff to the loop, it's not just swinging around doing all sorts. Now for the bottom of our rig we have our single loop, which using a bomb sinker or a star sinker we can grab any sinker that pretty much has a little eye at the top of it, whether it's a swivel or just a loop in the sinker. Once again we go through, over the top, and just pull that one straight up onto the swivel. The benefit of that loop is we can take these sinkers off, we can change them out if need be. When we're motoring around in the boat and we don't want them swinging around, we can remove them from the rig completely. And there we have it guys, that's how we tie our basic Paternoster rig. So we have our twin hook setup, our first dropper, our second dropper, nice and evenly spaced with those stiff rig hooks, down to our loop at the bottom with our suitable size sinker. Stay tuned for the next video, we'll see you then.